What is up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in today. In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at the sound design using only Logic instruments and Logic plugins. I also have a keys tutorial that will be coming out on how to play these parts. And without any further ado, let's get to it. Here we go. You'll see that I have a brand new project in Logic. I literally have not done anything yet because I want to show you how we can build this from scratch. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is open up an instance of Retro Synth, right? If we go over here, Retro Synth, and we'll just start with this one track. And let me quickly label it. Just call it Retro. So the first patch we're going to look for, if we open up and come down here, we go to Synth Brass and look for this Mellow Brass patch. Now, if you just play this sound as it is, you'll be kind of surprised, right? It's like super close already. So literally what we're going to do is take this decay time up ever so slightly to around 500 milliseconds. Okay, that affects how quickly the sound dies after we play it, right? And then for our amp envelope, we're just going to take that down slightly to around 30 milliseconds, okay? And that's affecting the volume, how quickly the volume rises, and then the decay is how quickly the volume falls as well, okay? And then lastly, we're just going to adjust slightly to about 2 o'clock here, the second dot, the envelope amount that this envelope is affecting the filter. And if you play that part, right, you'll hear that it's pretty close already, just by that. Okay, and then the only other thing that we have on this particular sound is an EQ. There is also an EQ. You can hear it's a little more lo-fi when he plays it, okay? And so basically what we're going to do is, this is just, again, the stock EQ in Logic. And we're going to kind of do like, almost like a band pass filter, right? Where we're doing like a little bubble in the middle, okay? And so one way to do this is we bring up this gain and use these shelves, okay, to drop this down, get it to cross somewhere around 200, and then drop this down, all right, and get it to cross somewhere around 1K. Okay, around about there. Now, like I said, a few simple things and we've almost got that sound. We are pretty close already. So I'm just going to open another track. And this time we're going to go to the Mellotron. We're going to open that up. Okay, and so what we're going to do here is we're going to use, again, this stock sound, 3 violins and boys choir, and we're just going to change the blend so that it has some of this boys choir in with it as well. Okay, and that is one of the other layers on the sound. And again, literally all of this is pretty much left in place. I've just adjusted the volume there and the blend. That is it. Great. Okay, so, and let's name that Mellow. So we have Retro, Mellow. And then our last sound that is going to be stacked is a toy piano sound. Okay, so we're just going to basically hack a way to do that. So what we can do here is actually just kind of open an empty channel strip, go to our sound browser, and I found this called Transistor Radio Piano, okay? And it sounds like this. Let's just turn off all these effects. No thanks. We don't want buses either. Let me just kill all of that. Okay, great. So now we have this sound, okay, as our piano sound. And to make that sound a little more like a toy piano, again, we can do quite a harsh kind of EQ here where we take out a lot of the low end, okay, get it sounding a little thinner. In this instance, we actually want that, okay? And then, so he starts with the toy piano and then kind of muffles it a bit with some high shelf, okay? And so we're going to do a similar kind of thing, maybe not as strong, maybe around 12 dB, okay? So now we have a little bit more of a muffled sound. All right, and honestly, those are the sounds. And it's that simple, okay? So what I'm going to do here is just create a stack. If you want to use the shortcut, it is Command-Shift-D, creates a stack. And I prefer these summing stacks so that you can actually mix the tracks individually underneath, okay? And let's call it retro stack, okay? And now if you play these together, okay, you hear that the Mellotron and the piano are kind of loud. And in the sound, if you listen to the record, the thing that really comes through is this. That like squishy synth, right? So cool. And so we'll just bring the volume of these down, the Mellotron and the toy piano, fake toy piano, right? Now let's play this whole stack. Woo! There we go. We pretty much got that sound happening. It's that simple. I love that we can all do this now. You know, the internet just gives us amazing insight into things that before would have taken years and hours and tons of dollars to be able to find out. Now we found them out so easily. Amazing. So grateful. So now that we've got our stack happening, let's look at some simple processing we can add just to glue the sound together and give it a little bit of vibe. So the first thing we can do is add a compressor. This is the stock Logic compressor, nothing too crazy going on here at all. The only thing I would say that's very important to note is this attack time. You don't want it too fast or it's going to squash the transient and take away that wah-wah squishy sound that we spent time getting in retro synth. And then the other thing we can do to add a little bit of saturation, give it a little bit of vibe in Logic is to go to this vintage EQ collection. And there's a couple ways to do this, but this is probably one of the fastest. And if you want to use this to add some EQ to your stack, you can. I might just put a low cut so there's no low end rumble going on. And what we're going to do for saturation is use this drive knob, because this is emulating what would happen on an analog EQ, right? So we're getting a little bit of saturation from that drive knob. And literally, that is it. So super simple, guys. I really hope that you enjoy this. I hope that all made sense and that you have fun making this sound and finding ways to really come up with cool sounds that you can use in your productions, in your songs. And also know that you don't have to spend like thousands of dollars. You really don't. Logic is a $200 program. It's fantastic. And it really has great stock plugins. And in fact, no matter what DAW you have, you can make great music on it. I promise you really can. Okay, so you guys stay good. Stay good. What is that? So you guys stay well and hope to catch you again soon.